Hey everyone, D3 here from BrightIdeasScouting.com. This is another Scouting in the Park. Today is Scouting in the Park 56. You can find the show notes at BrightIdeasScouting.com/park056. We've been able to get a lot more of these show notes up on the website, so sorry for the delay. We've been posting the videos out to the podcast, but not so much updating the website. That's been pretty much resolved. We're just about all up to date by the end of tonight. So thank you for all of you that have been checking out the website, checking out the podcast, and answering questions. So today, the last week we've been talking about what have I gotten myself into? Talking about the different roles that are in a pack and kind of some tips to help you out if you are a first-time scout leader or if you're new to that role. Today, I just want to take a little break from that and do another role, but this is a role that you haven't gotten yourself into, but it might be a role that comes to you, and that is the role of a den chief. Now, a den chief is a Boy Scout who has come back into the pack. They need a rank requirement. They need a role for their rank requirement, and den chief is one of those. So typically when you see a first-class scout, so this is typically a Boy Scout that's been a Boy Scout for about 1.5 years, maybe 2 years, maybe a little less, but 1.5 years is about average, that comes back into the pack to take the skills that they've learned in Boy Scouts, the friends that they've left in the pack, and they begin to help out. Now, a den chief is not in charge of the boys, okay? That's the den leader. But here's where you would be using a den chief. Let's say, for instance, if you're using the EDGE method, which we've explained in another podcast, which is explain, demonstrate, guide, and enable. If you're using the EDGE method to teach the new scout something, let's take something simple like the square knot. So you're teaching these young, maybe wolves, bears, webelos, the square knot. You've explained it, you've demonstrated, and now you need help guiding them. This is a perfect opportunity for a den chief to come in and to help. He hasn't done the instruction, that's the den leadership, but now that he can go around and help the scouts learn and perfect that skill. So these are also ones that can help you do some tasks, like when they get there, they can take care of doing the attendance. Making sure that anything that got checked off in the book is checked off. That can kind of be, a little guide there. Also, sometimes, depending as to what merit badge they're working on, you could give them a segment to teach for like the communication or the public speaking merit badge. Or if they've got to practice something for first aid, that's an opportunity there to help and for them to learn. So a den chief might come to you. Now, this is something that a lot of times you don't see. There's a lot of packs out there that don't employ den chiefs. I'd highly recommend that you do. Now, and I'd recommend it for one reason, and it has nothing to do with the den chief. How's that for a weird reason? It has to do with, in order to get a den chief, the troop, the scoutmaster, and the cub master of the pack need to be working in harmony so that it becomes a seamless transition from when a boy leaves Cub Scouts, goes to Boy Scouts, maybe even off into venturing later. But the scoutmaster of the troop and the cub master of the pack need to work together. Because the cub master is ultimately the one who trains these den chiefs and looks after them and kind of gives reports back to the scoutmaster. Here's why I'd recommend doing den chiefs. So often, a pack does not seamlessly transition into a troop. There seems to be a disconnect in many packs and troops around the nation that happens in. So I'd highly recommend that you do this so that you can build better harmony. I know in our pack and troop, what helps is I'm the committee chair, my cub master and assistant cub master, we have boys in both. So once we started transitioning over, all three of us are assistant scoutmasters with the troop. We have our roles in the pack, and it just became that much easier to keep our Scoutmaster in the loop. And it is now just a very seamless, harmonious transition between that we can help the Scoutmaster plan, saying, hey, we've got 11 new boys coming next year. We've got, 12 the next year. So as he starts to think about how to plan equipment and stuff, that works. That's the number one reason I would do a Den Chief, is it helps to build that bridge between Cub Scouts and Boy Scouts. So boys that left, went into Boy Scouts, that had friends that might have been a wolf or a bear, now they see him come back. He can explain all of the fun things he's doing. That helps make the transition back in, and he gets to be with his friends. So, Den Chiefs, great resource that the Boy Scouts can come back into Cub Scouts to help you model Scout Oath, Scout Law, help teach, and be another friend to the boys. Tomorrow, join us when we're going to discuss the most important youth leadership position in the pack. That's right, in the pack. A lot of you know the ones in the troop, senior patrol leader and the assistant senior patrol leader, but do you know the most important youth leadership position in the pack? So until tomorrow, learn everything you can, share everything you know, live the Scout Oath and Scout Law.